Hello to Tornado Tumblers coaches for fall of 2024, here for the video overviewing weeks 1 and 2. I chose to put a few chairs in the hallway like this, so if they're not like that when you arrive, you should put them there. And these chairs need to get put away when we're done at the end. There are some classes that are just really full, and I know I'm gonna overflow the seating area, so I would rather provide them these places to sit than them crowding our white line. So hopefully this will help. And then you can see at the end here where the stack needs to go. I also did leave a couple extra here, so if they need to pull chairs down the hallway even further, that they can, but we just need to get it cleaned back up by having one stack here at the end of the night so that the custodian can continue to clean the floor. As you notice, our doors got painted, so I am going to discontinue putting any sort of magnets on the doors at all because I don't want it to chip the paint, and hopefully these will be soon decaled with our team logo as well, so there will not be things on the doors as we've had in the past. So this board will become especially important, and possibly a few other cork boards that I might need to get out as season goes. So there will be information here. You can see how I place the chairs as usual. I decided to leave a little door here in the middle, then not go quite all the way to the end, and then have a little door on each side of the whiteboard. And I'm hoping that because there will be a little door close by, that they won't crawl under the rope as much. So if it's not like that when you get here, please do that. I also use cones at the end to be a marker, but there's still a spot to walk around, so that hopefully the kids aren't ducking under there either. But please make sure those cones are there to signify to the spectators that they cannot go past that spot. Then over here on, you can see here how I placed 5 dots on the line. So if your class is 5 for warm-up, that might be exactly enough space, and that's great. And then over by this line, I showed what it could look like with 10 dots. That kind of staggering I was talking about in the lesson plan, if there's not enough room for them to all be on the line together. But you'll get to know your class, you'll know what works best for you, but I just wanted to show what I was talking about. Then for floor, this is where I put the jump rope station, and I tried to use the panel mat, so that kind of gives a safe space for somebody else to not get jump roped. And then the black jump rope is what we use at high school. And then I brought a light blue one that we use with smaller children. And there are 2 more small ones and many more large ones on the wall if you need different ones. But I would definitely decide for the kids which one to try. And then the high school ones are also adjustable in size if anybody's in between. And if you need that, let me know and I can show you how to set those. And then I put this dot here so that they know not to stand too close to it, and you might even need to move that further back. Then here I put the backward roll station with the orange dot here, so that they would come sit on the mat and lay down with their head hanging off the end and their hands touching the floor, and then let their feet come over to the carpet off the edge. So I think that's kind of similar to, you know, when you've like kind of flipped backwards off of your couch and landed on your feet. That's what it looks like if you're not quite understanding my description. And then once they get that from just laying down, they kind of want to sit up and start in their tuck and then quickly roll off the end. And then you know what it looks like in high school when we practice a back extension off the panel mat. So if you can teach that to any of the older kids, feel free. Then this is where I put the trapezoids with the dot waiting back here for donkey kick. And remember, that's to introduce them to going upside down, to holding their body weight, to jumping to a handstand. So if you need to, show them what it looks like to jump all the way up there and see how high they can make it. And make sure you're coaching them to do it better with straight legs, with pointed feet, with their legs glued together, because that's something that all ages of gymnasts can be improving on. And then over here is where I put tuck jump over the pit block, so they could come down the beam this way and then walk back on the white line that way and wait at their orange dot. And again, none of this needs to be exactly perfectly set up every time, but you definitely want to give yourself references so that when kids far away from you are not standing where they should, you can say, so and so, find the blue dot closest to you, and they'll be able to achieve that. Those things from floor, I all put on the lesson plan on the same page and just kind of gave some suggestions for how to challenge each age group different. Then for the bars area, I did make a separate page for age 5, 6, age 7, 8, and age 9, 10. So definitely before your class starts, pick the right sheet and make sure you're doing the correct stations. This station is the same for all ages, however, where they're laying and doing a toe up. Now, this is going to potentially be a safety for 5 and 6, where we'll need to watch it closer because it is a big hill going towards a wall. So if we feel for any reason that kids are acting unsafely off the end towards the bench, we should make sure to highlight that during directions and potentially stand like an open panel mat on the wall if we are nervous that they're going to hit it at all. But this is the dot where they should be standing. This is their chair to crawl up, and then they should crawl right back down and back to this spot and be going one student at a time. And the idea here is that we have given them a place to practice doing a toe up, which is really hard strength wise, but because they're on an incline should make it easier. This station is for 5, 6, and 7, 8. 5, 6 is doing only a bat hang. So we are not doing wall walk pullovers right away. We want them to be achieving this by themselves, to be walking their feet up the wall, to be holding still. I have many videos in the Tornado Tumblers if you're not quite sure the purpose of a bat hang, if you want to go back and watch those, but please do not do wall walk pullovers with age 5 and 6 this week. Age 7 and 8, we are going to do those. And yes, we do need to spot many kids, but that's where they really have a safe place to be trying it on their own. So it should not be wrangling all your time. If you can maybe spot each kid on one and then go ahead and try it on your own and then walk around and coach the other stations. We should never be in a position where we can't move and coach other things for the purpose of just one. If they can't do it, they can't do it, but it's a safe place to try. Dots again, put them everywhere so you have something to reference. This is where I set up for the 5, 6s to do a spider hang, and having this to crawl up to the blue area and do it from there, or do it here if they're a little bit taller, I think is a great way to introduce them to being higher up, but also make them feel pretty safe for this one. And then for the older kids, they're practicing jump to front support here. They're not forward rolling or going over the bar, but I would still have this 8-inch here just in case, because you never know what could happen in class. And you might also want to shift these blocks back this way so that they're not accidentally falling back off here either. So 5, 6, you want them more centered, or kind of like, you know, at this one. And then the olders, just shove everything back. So you have to pay attention to which class is happening at that time. Then over here, we're doing wall walk for 5 and 6. And it's just put your hands right here and hold them still. Walk your feet up, walk your feet back down. Then for 7, 8, and 9, and 10, put your hands in that same spot. But after you've counted to 10 and your feet are on the wall, we want them to kick away from the wall and try to roll onto this mat so that they're working on their handstand forward roll. So there might be a 5, 6 that's advanced enough, but I mean, every age of gymnastics, all the way up through us high schoolers, work on our shape and our ability to hold our wall walk handstand. So we also don't want to convince any child that that's somehow not important or something that they will not always do, because it is always important. Then over here, we're going to have this beam down, leave this one up. So that one is for 9, 10 only. This one is where 8 and under stays. And so we will need to make sure that gets moved like that. I will likely always be able to be the person that does that, but if you come and it's not down, please make sure it gets down and that you ask for help on that if you need to. And then make sure that over here on these high beams, the main focus needs to be mounting and dismounting correctly and safely, especially for this beginning of the session. There are just things, if we let them go this week and they're climbing up incorrectly, later they're going to do it even faster and possibly fall forwards and break their arm. Or if they're jumping off the beam and they're not asked to stick, finish, and soldier right now, they're not going to start doing it later. So we need to know them to know that that's the important part, and that's what we're taking seriously. So if you need to stand on the end of the mat so they can see you and do stick, finish, soldier with them, I promise it will pay off later. Because once they're in the rhythm of doing that, they will remember that and they will continue to do it. But if you let them start by just jumping down and flying away back to line as quick as they can, it just will not ever improve like that. And then I'm now realizing I just also skipped the pit pillow station over on floor. where they're running and jumping off the springboard. And it's that same reminder I needed to give, is that we have to make sure that they don't start running at the end until their friend has done their stick finish soldier and is already off the mat. That's where we see a lot of kids running and almost jumping on the person in front of them. And remember, they're at gymnastics to learn. So it's not, oh, I can already run and jump, what's next? They should be running and jumping to the correct positions, and then be learning the term hurdle and learning arm circle and learning the position their body's in the air and what they're doing when they stick. So please don't let any station just turn into no learning. There's always something extra to be asking for at each station and to be showing them.